Willoughby had many cheerful sounds, but Hazel the bunny had a favorite. It was the soft flap of envelopes sliding through the brass letter slot at the turning page bookshop. Hazel loved letters. She loved the careful folds, the tiny stamps, the way a few quiet words could travel from one neighbor to another and make a day feel remembered. She kept a special notebook called Messages That Matter, where she copied phrases that made her ears stand up with hope. Thank you for the extra honey cake. I saved you the blue ribbon. Your song made the rainy morning brighter. Hazel's friends teased her gently for being organized enough to alphabetize compliments, but they admired it too. Milo the honey-colored puppy liked anything that made tails wag. Luna the gray kitten liked words that noticed small beautiful things. Pip the duckling liked letters because they could be tied with ribbon. One breezy afternoon, the four friends were helping Mrs. Maple sort donation books when a gust of wind pushed open the bookshop door. It twirled across the floor, lifted 3 bookmarks into the air, and nudged a canvas mail bag from the delivery mouse's little cart outside. "Oh my whiskers!" cried Benny the bicycle mouse. He hurried after it, but the latch had popped open. A bundle of pale yellow envelopes spun up like butterflies and scattered over Clover Lane. Milo pounced toward one envelope, then stopped himself just in time. "Careful rescue paws," Hazel reminded him. Luna sprang onto the windowsill and spotted envelopes sailing toward the bridge, the bakery awning, and the pond path. Pip grabbed his blue ribbon and tied the mail bag to Benny's cart so it could not escape twice. Benny's ears drooped. "Those are thank you notes from the Helping Day picnic. Mrs. Maple wrote one to everyone who lent a paw. I promised to deliver them before sunset." Mrs. Maple touched her green scarf. "They are only notes, dear. No one will be upset." But Hazel had seen the way neighbors smiled when a kind word arrived exactly when they needed it. "They are not only notes," she said softly. "They are little bridges. We can help deliver them." Benny looked relieved, then worried again. "The route goes over the wooden bridge, past the hill garden, around the pond, and up to the old windmill porch. It is a long ride, and my wheel is bent." Hazel felt her stomach flutter. She liked maps, schedules, and steady paths. She did not like being in charge of a route that could go wrong in 5 different directions. But the envelopes waited in the grass, bright as fallen sunshine. She opened her notebook to a fresh page. "Then we will make a gentle plan. Milo, gather envelopes on the path. Luna, check high places. Pip, keep the bag safe and dry. Benny, tell me the route. I will mark every stop." The friends moved carefully. Milo carried envelopes in his mouth as if each one were a soap bubble. Luna climbed the bakery steps and hooked a note from the striped awning with one delicate claw. Pip used ribbon to bundle the recovered letters by street. Hazel wrote names in neat columns: Nora Hedgehog, Mr. Finch, Tilly Mouse, the bakery fox, Fern Squirrel, Olive Robin, and old Captain Turtle at Windmill Porch. By the time the last envelope was rescued from a clover patch, the sun had already leaned toward afternoon. "If we walk, we can still make it," Hazel said, although her voice came out smaller than she wanted. Milo wagged. "I am excellent at walking. Sometimes I walk even when nobody asks." So the brave little mail route began. Their first stop was Nora Hedgehog's garden. Nora was kneeling beside a row of basil sprouts, looking discouraged because the breeze had knocked over her watering can. Hazel handed her a yellow envelope. Nora opened it and read aloud, "Thank you for sharing seeds after the rain. You reminded Willoughby that spring can be replanted." Nora's face softened. "I needed that today," she said. She tucked the note into her apron and stood a little straighter. Hazel made a check mark in her notebook. One bridge delivered. At the bakery, the fox was dusted with flour from nose to tail. His thank you note said his honey cakes had made the picnic feel like home. He laughed, gave the friends 4 small rolls for the road, and added a 5th for Benny, who was still fixing his wheel outside the bookshop. The route felt easy for a while. Luna spotted the quickest shady stones. Pip announced each delivery with a polite little quack. Milo carried the mail bag when Hazel's paws got tired, though he occasionally became distracted by sticks that looked important. Then they reached the wooden bridge. The bridge crossed the narrow stream beside the pond. Hazel had crossed it many times, but today the wind whistled between the railings and made the envelopes rustle. Below, the water glittered and hurried around smooth stones. Hazel stopped at the first plank. On the other side lived Tilly Mouse, Fern Squirrel, and Captain Turtle. 3 notes still waited. 3 little bridges that could not be left unfinished. "We can go slowly," Luna said. "I can walk beside you," Milo offered. Pip tied a blue ribbon around the mailbag flap. "And I can make sure no letter tries to become a fish." Hazel took one breath, then another. She was still afraid of dropping something. She was still afraid the wind would laugh at her careful plan. But courage, she remembered from her notebook, did not always feel like roaring. Sometimes it felt like one quiet step with friends close by. She stepped onto the bridge. The boards creaked. The stream flashed. Milo stayed to her left. Luna padded lightly ahead. Pip waddled behind, ribbon fluttering like a tiny flag. Hazel kept her eyes on the far rail and whispered the names on her list. Tilly, Fern, Captain Turtle. Halfway across, a gust tugged one envelope loose. It slipped from the stack and skated toward the edge. Milo froze, because careful rescue paws were still in effect. Luna turned, but she was too far. Hazel moved without thinking. She pressed one paw gently onto the envelope just before it reached the gap. Everyone held still. Then Pip whispered, delivered to Hazel's paw. Very efficient. Hazel laughed. The bridge suddenly felt less enormous. On the far side, Tilly Mouse received a note thanking her for sharing blueberry muffins even after most of them had rolled into the grass at the picnic. She hugged the envelope to her chest. Fern Squirrel's note thanked her for teaching the younger squirrels how to hang lanterns safely. Fern blinked fast and said she had not realized anyone noticed. Someone did, Hazel said. Mrs. Maple notices a lot. Only Captain Turtle's note remained. His house sat at the old windmill porch, up a hill lined with lavender and round white stones. The friends climbed as golden light spread over Willowbell. Hazel's legs were tired, but her notebook had one empty box left, and she wanted very much to check it. Captain Turtle was polishing a small wooden bench when they arrived. He moved slowly, smiled slowly, and opened his envelope slowly. The note thanked him for bringing extra blankets to the moonlight picnic and for telling stories that made shy neighbors feel welcome. Captain Turtle read it twice. Then he looked at Hazel and her friends. A thank you note is a small boat, he said. It carries warmth across quiet water. Hazel loved that sentence so much she wrote it down immediately. As they turned back toward town, the sunset painted every rooftop peach and gold. Benny the bicycle mouse met them near the bridge with his wheel repaired and his face hopeful. Did you make it? He asked. Hazel showed him the notebook. Every box had a check mark. Every little bridge had reached the other side. Benny let out such a relieved sigh that his cap nearly lifted off. Mrs. Maple came from the bookshop carrying cinnamon tea, and neighbors followed, each holding a yellow note. Nora brought basil leaves. The bakery fox brought rolls. Fern brought a strand of lantern twine. Captain Turtle arrived last, slow and smiling, with a folded paper star. For Hazel, he said. On it he had written, brave does not mean unafraid. Brave means the kindness still arrives. Hazel's ears grew warm. She looked at Milo, Luna, and Pip. The route had not become easy because she was fearless. It had become possible because everyone had helped carry the careful parts. That evening, they tied Captain Turtle's paper star above the letter slot at the turning page. From then on, whenever the mail flap made its soft flap flap sound, Hazel remembered the windy bridge, the rescued envelope, and the way a kind message could change the shape of a whole day. And whenever someone in Willowbell had a thank you note to send, they knew exactly who would help it find the way. A brave little bunny with a neat notebook, 3 loyal friends, and a town full of small bridges waiting to be crossed.